Hey, it's Matt Pinfield, and I am here with Thomas Raggi as well as Tom Morello. Guys, it's so great to see you both.
Great to see you.
Always great to see you, Matt Pinfield.
You know, it's awesome. I am so excited about this record, and I'm so happy we are at the Whiskey A Go Go, legendary venue here in Los Angeles. I love this new record that you put together, Mascarade. So let's talk about this. And why don't we talk about the first time that you guys met?
Yeah, of course. The first time that we met actually was, I think, 2 years ago, something like that, here in LA. Because before that, we had the opportunity to play at the Roxy. We met Tom, and I immediately clicked with him, to be honest. And also, like, we did Gossip, that is one of our biggest song actually here in the States together, and it was a pleasure. And after that, like, we really enjoy like our relationship together. Like, I invited me lots of shows. We hang out a lot. He came to Rome, Italy, in Trastevere. We had lots of drinks and fun. So, I mean, yeah, everything came very naturally. So it was very naturally exactly to do this project together.
It's great that you did.
Thomas is a rock and roll spirit. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like from the first time we met in the parking lot over there, it was a kindred spirit, and it was so great to see. Like, I only kind of casually knew Måneskin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the big hit is what I kind of knew. But then just meeting him was like, wow, that's crazy. Like he wanted to go guitar shopping, and the names he was throwing out were some of my favorite guitar players too. And you know, this young man from Italy was like, what's happening here? So we met and crossed paths a few more times, like around the world. And then I worked with them on the song Gossip, which was a
great song.
It was a big jam, record. Like it's, you know, a streaming monster and whatnot. And we've played together on bills in festivals in Europe. I've got to join them on stage. Thomas has joined me on stage many, many times. So when he was making this record, it was an honor that, you know, he reached out and asked me to produce it.
That's amazing. There's so many great guests on it that work on the songs. And I just also want to say, Thomas, the two songs that you sing on the record too, like "Keep the Pack" and those two songs are great. You sound awesome on them.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You know,
thank you.
Because I just love. There's a lot of great vocalists on there, but you really do a great job on those two tracks.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
You know? Tell me about putting the record together and.
Well, I said one of the challenges was that there were so many good songs. Like, he's a very prolific writer, and we had maybe over 50 songs to choose from. It was like this kind of ocean of material, and pairing it down. We knew we wanted the record to be 7 or 8 tunes, something like that. And so that was really a challenge, sort of that, and then matching the tunes with the guest vocalists and whatnot. But what I knew right away from the first time he started sending me demos was that this album has the possibility. You know, Måneskin, one of the great things they've done is they've connected rock and roll with a global young audience.
Yes.
And this record is the idea to take that even one step further, to introduce that audience to a record that is pure rock and roll. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what is in his heart and in his hands on his guitar strings. And so that's what we tried to bring out in this.
I mean, you really did. And right from let's talk about Get You, the first single that you guys are releasing record, and having Nick on there, Nick Sesser from the band Jet. Mm-hmm. Tell me how he ended up getting involved.
Yeah, basically. I wrote that song with Beck, actually, like at the beginning, with Beck, and because I met him here in LA, so we had a session together, and after that, I shared the song with Tom, and he helped me a lot, like to arrange the whole song and to add the great sounds of that song specifically. So after that, like, we decided to involve Nick in the song, because I was thinking that it was great, and there is also super funny story, I will say, about Chad Smith, because it was literally like in the next door close to the house, like at the Henson Studios, and we say like, hey, can we try like to, I don't know, just ask to him if you want to play something on that song. So he just came in our studio, and we shared the whole song with him, and he was super like, okay, yeah, I can play something, and he literally like smashed that song on the drums. So I think that the cool things about story about this thing is the fact that everything is really authentic. You know what I mean? Like, he was in the same room with us, and everything it's happened in a super natural way, I think.
Yeah, we recorded this in Henson Studios, Studio D, where quite a few Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave records have been recorded in that room. And what has been very effective in recording those records is the band plays the song in a room together, and that's what we did. And that song with Chad Smith, where he just destroyed. You know, Chad is he's a 10 out of 10 every time he sits down behind the kit with a great attitude as well.
Yeah, so he just loves rock.
He just loves that he comes in and is just happy to do it. And you know, how many more songs can I plan? And but no, it was really great to have him, and I'm glad that song is kicking off the record.
Another cool fact was that when I was with Tom, like he showed me lots of cool situation in that studio, you know, because he said like, do you know, like here we recorded our first, Battle of Los Angeles in that studio. Led Zeppelin 4 they recorded in the other room, and he showed me lots of great moments around. So I was super happy, you know, like to live that real moment.
Yeah, that's really great. And talk about the songs that when you decided you were going to sing lead on those 2 tracks, like Keep It Back, the next one.
Yeah, For Nothing, I started to write that song like something like 2 years ago, because the melody of the chorus came into my mind like when I was in an hotel room, and after that I was just, I don't know, locked in that song for other 2 months, 3 months, something like that. So together, after that, like we arranged exactly the perfect part to find the right match between my vocal range, I will say that, and the instrumental at the same time. And and everything came naturally also in that song. It was my first approach to the voice, because, you know, like I was able to create instrumental songs thanks to my guitar. So I can play the drums, of course, but I can have in my mind like a drum pattern or something like that. I can play bass, but the voice was the last step to create a full song, you know?
Yes.
So everything starts from that thing, I would say that.
And it's very liberating for guitar players to be singers as well. I mean, just from my own personal,
because you've been doing great
personal
with it.
experience, is that it's, you know, the chemistry that you get with a band is fantastic, and Måneskin's this huge band that headline festivals. But to know that you have like the ability and the freedom to write your own songs, to sing them, to tour like anytime you want with your own talents and whatnot is a very, very liberating thing. And so, you know, one of the things when a number of the songs from the 50 that you had, you were singing on, I was like, this is going to be fun. At first you go like, Tom was like, I for sure want to sing some songs on the record. You're like, well, I hope he can sing. You know,
And you felt that he
sing a
could.
couple songs. I sure hope he can sing. And they were great. I mean, immediately it wasn't a problem. He's a really, really, really talented songwriter, not just guitar player, not just rock spirit, but a really talented songwriter. You know, from the ballad stuff to the melodies and the more rocking stuff. So that was something that's very impressive too.
Yeah, I mean, and let's talk about the Ritz and Luke Spiller on that song, because that's a really cool song too. There's a feel to that. So when it came time to write the songs, did any of the collaborators actually get involved in the writing process as well?
Yeah, I mean, like, can I say that Luke is a really good friend of me and Tom, so it was very, how can I say, like, naturally for us to ask to him to sing on that song, because we immediately, like, think about him, to be honest. And it's a jam. I mean, like, we just arranged the whole song in the Henson too, and everything was a fanfic, I will say that.
Yeah, Luke Spiller is the three of us have played together a number of times on stage, and he's another great rock and roll spirit, and he's always down to just rock a stage. So it was awesome to have him on the tune. Yeah.
It was great because it just again, all the different people that perform with you on here. It's just it feels like people are at their best. And it's about working with Alex Sopranos too on the cover of "You Spin Me Around Like a Record," because it's a great cover. I've heard a cover before, but none of them are as good as this cover. Yeah. This is the best cover of that song that I've heard. I've heard a lot of people.
He's the one that we knew we wanted to do that song, and he was the person that we targeted to do it, because he very much sort of embodies that spirit of it's part new wave, it's part rock and roll, it's all attitude.
Yeah, he does have that spirit, and that's the one thing that I think that it's so great too. Is and I'm sure you saw that when you saw Måneskin the first time, was the swagger that you have. Yeah. You got the swagger.
It's something that's missing in rock and roll. There's a lot of different, as you know this, Matt, I don't need to tell you this, there's a lot of different ways to be great at rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But one way that has not been at the forefront more recently, with the exception of Måneskin and Youngblood, is like young, talented, sexy rockers who are just shaking their asses in front of huge festival crowds and just owning it. Like an old school Aerosmith or an old school Van Halen, like bands that just really just love the pomp and circumstance and the swagger of rock and roll. That's something that has been sorely missing, and Måneskin certainly has it, as does Thomas on his solo records.
Yeah, and it was exactly also our goal, because like we was thinking about that, and we was talking about that to try to give something to the new generation of guys, that it's a very important thing for me and for us, I think. So yeah.
I love that you were able to do that together, and getting Maxim to do something too from the Prodigy is so cool. So tell me about that as well, and how that.
Also, that song, like I was into the idea to have something electronic, but not in terms of like proper electronic song, you know,
right.
because you have like a super strong riff inside, very rock vibe. So it was more like in the term to have something that you can dancing into a disco club, you know what I mean, something like that. So I met him for the first time in London actually, and we wrote that song together, and we immediately clicked. It was, I think the cool part of this project is the fact that every song are really authentic, you know what I mean, because we just spent lots of times in the room with the artist, and me and Tom thinking about the right song, the right guys, the right arrangement. That is the best of the music, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, I just love
sorry.
that you did it. So, did a lot of those people? Did they actually do it?
A lot of it was remote. The singers, with the singers, it was remote. All of the music was recorded at Henson. Yeah.
Henson's a place you know inside out.
Yes, I do. Yes, it was great.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, I've been there decades worth of albums.
You've been in two of the greatest bands of all time too, right? And then you know, I've worked inside.
For me, it was an honor, like to be there. It was my first time, and thanks to Tom, I mean, like I had a super session there. You know what I mean? So it was super fun.
And we made this record like in the way that people made rock records. You know, nowadays one guy's making a part on his phone, and Calabasas, and one guy's making a part on his iPad in Perth, Australia, and then there's a show. You know what I mean? This was like we parked in Henson for, I don't know, it's a couple of weeks, and with a drum set up in this room, and every day came in, and it was great to like come in and go to work and make a great rock record.
That's amazing. That's great. Good. And so how many? You said there were 50 songs to choose from. Did you zero in on those 8 or 9 songs that you were working on at that time?
We kept making the 50 go to about 20, and then the 20 went back to like 24. Because he kept writing. And so the 24 finally went down to about 10, and we're like, oh, we gotta
get. At one point, he told me like, okay, stop writing.
Stop it.
Because we have to pick the song.
Save it for the next record.
Exactly.
Save it for the next record.
That's great. And are there some extra tracks that you guys haven't? Or things that maybe you started working on?
Yeah, right? there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of material. If we want to, there's plenty for
Mascarade 2.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say for Avengers #7 or something.
Exactly.
But it is really good. How liberating was it for you, Tom, to be working with somebody that you loved?
Yeah. I made a lot of records, but it was really like from the first moment that I met Thomas, he has something that I really do think is missing in a lot of younger artists, you know? And it's just this great love of an understanding of the history of rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he and Måneskin and him personally are manifesting that in 2025 with all the ability to play the guitar, the ability to write great songs, the ability to go out there and play shows and connect with a young audience where rock and roll was meant to connect originally.
Yes.
You know, it's got all of that in spades. And so we really want to just put that on wax. We wanted to make a record that was going to be the embodiment of that raw rock and roll spirit that is, like I said, it's in his heart and it's in his guitar strings.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Tom. And also, like from my side, it was Tom. It was a man for, of course, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like I think that I learned a lot from him. He also, like in terms of arranging the song, in terms of vision, in terms of sound. Like lots of times we spoke about like to have a unique sound that is very important, especially as a guitar player. So and also like. Another funny thing was the fact that I came out with lots of different riffs, and I said like, I don't know, Tom, I'm not sure about that one. I said like, the first one that you did was the best, you know, so just keep that one. So I learned a lot. I learned the fact that exactly sometimes the first take is the right thing.
Yeah. And that's a really cool thing about that, and building that, you know, friendship and relationship.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And Tom, you know, it's great because I mean, you played with everybody, you know, obviously from Bruce Springsteen to, you know, Pretty Reckless, and you've done all this great stuff with them. Yeah. But you obviously really believe in Thomas enough that you really wanted to get behind this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love first of all, the whole idea that one of the biggest rock bands in the world is Italian. There's never been one band before from Italy that anybody ever heard of outside of Italy, right? And now the fact that, you know, I've played on festival shows with these guys and watched them destroy, you know, the same audience that Rage Against the Machine destroyed and pick, you know, whatever band that Foo Fighters destroyed, et cetera. Yeah. And and I was just like, wow, like, and watching the audience, and the audience is, you know, 12 to 20. You know, and it's maybe 60% female. You know, and at a rock and roll show. And I thought that, you know, that while that band has there's pop elements to it, there's a lot of sort of disparate elements to it. Yeah. The rock and roll heart of the beating in that band is this guy. And I'm like, let's make a record that is going to really make that the rock and roll blood flow throughout that entire audience.
Yeah, and it really does. I mean, I think that's a great thing about it.
And one thing he says, like, he's so looking forward to playing shows too. You know what I mean? Like, and playing will start tonight.
Yeah. You're at the Whiskey, which is
Exactly.
And because you love for rock goes through so many different eras, this was a place that you've always kind of thought about playing, right? Because
yeah, of course. Like, it's an iconic venue. Like, to be honest, one of my main influences as a band are from here, from Los Angeles, of course, Rage Against the Machine too. So I mean, like, for me, it's such an honor, like, to start this thing here and have the possibility, like, to tell to the people this project that we did together in this such iconic venue, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
You are, and I love the spirit that you, like I said, from the first time seeing Måneskin, the first time over there at the Roxy that same night, blew me away. I loved it. I love the Iggy cover, and I love the whole, like, you know, the way you tied everything together, and just straight up into this. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate
Thank you.
you guys doing this. And so, what's the long-term plan? Is there going to be some more shows that you'll be doing?
Of course. I mean, like, we have to program that, but for sure, I think that how can I say, like, this record will be super good, like, to playing live, to show the whole nature of the rock music. That is it's the better spot, you know what I mean, to play. I mean, like, the live shows is the perfect combination that you have a really good interaction with the crowd. So absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. It blows me away. But I just want to tell you, I love this record, and it's just been exciting to listen to it. And it just does my heart so good to see you guys working together.
Well, it always does my heart so good to see you, Matt Pinfield. And as someone who has documented many chapters of rock and roll, it's great to have you be documenting this chapter too.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to be here with you guys.
We got a lot of
It's
love
great.
for you, man. We got a lot of love for you.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for doing this and being part of this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, guys. All right.
Don't.
All right, everybody. It's Thomas
We
and
did it.
Tom. Guys, thank you so much for doing
Now
this.
let's play the show.